Hello guys, welcome to our show. Today we discuss about white label SEO, how you can use tools to create the right reports for your clients, to understand how to create the right strategy. And I'm so excited to discuss this topic with Allen MacCannell. How are you?
Hello, hi. Good morning, Anatoly. If this is morning in your area of the world.
Yeah, it's afternoon, but what I like
Okay.
online that we can join at any time, at any place. You're in Bulgaria right now. I'm in the US, Florida. Actually, I from Ukraine, and you mentioned that you was in Ukraine as well. So yeah, it's hard time in Ukraine, but what we can do just to keep going ahead. I help in donating Ukrainian people, army in this hard time. So hope Ukrainian army will win soon. So to destroy this army of slaves. And Alan, before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background, about your business, and tell more that our listeners can know more about you.
Okay. Well, Web CEO has been around since around the year 2000, and we were the ones who originally had the famous SEO tool where you would basically subscribe. You basically submit to about 20 search engines all at the same time, and we were that tool. Web CEO was that tool that did that, and this tool still exists inside our online tools. Back then, they were downloadable software, but that tool, that little tool, still exists in the online tools. And but it's only a very minor aspect of SEO tools these days. And
Mhm.
we went online in the year 2011 after 1 year of beta testing. One of our clients was Rand Fishkin, who created Moz back in 2007, and he went online before we did. And so we actually went online January 3rd, 2011, and so we've been online for over 12 years now.
Ooh.
And we very quickly went into white label, which means we didn't just let people put their branding on PDF files and make sure that there was no mention of Web CEO anywhere on these PDF files. We also we created white label on your own domain. That means that you can basically create a domain or a subdomain on your server hosting, and then you would then CNAME it if it's a subdomain, or a reference it if it's a domain, to one of our special domains so that nobody would ever know that you're connecting with Web CEO.
Mhm.
And then yes, a lot of companies out there have basically started their own SEO tools, and maybe a lot of SEO tools that are out there, they're really ours, and I think there'd be one or two other companies like ours that provide the back end. So there's a proliferance of SEO tools out there in the world. And most of the time, agencies use them, and they basically they make sure the customers love them and stick with them, because they have this back end that's on their domain, and it looks like it's all their technology. And then the customers never go away because they're very happy to be able to log in and see their own reports with the logo of the agency or their own logo, because the agencies can actually put the logo of their clients on their clients' reports, because
Yeah.
it's nested. It's a nested situation, and
Nice.
yeah, so it's been very successful. It was a very good idea, and people have a lot of fun with it. Now, other people, they actually create their own SEO tools and they sell them for, let's say, $50 a month for a basic mom and pop SEO account, or maybe $150 to be able to add more projects and a whole lot more keywords. And so there are some people have gotten very rich. I've introduced them to it, and now I'm very jealous because I just work for a salary, and they're just making huge amounts of money,
Mhm.
because they've been working at it. They've been working very hard, and there's a lot of profit when you pay us maybe $2 or $3 a month for a project, and you're charging $50 a month, and they're getting a lot of value out of that $50 a month, but you're getting like $48 profit.
Mhm. Nice. Alan, I check out your biography, history, and I like that you speak 4 languages. That's good. But what I like more, that you have sales background, successful sales background, and I found marketers who understand sales are more effective because salespeople have data, and marketers need to use this data. And according to some studies, salespeople distrust marketers, don't share this data because of policy, because of many other things. But you have this background. Can you tell how to unite two departments, sales department and marketing department, to create a cohesive goal, one vision where to grow the company?
Okay, so how do I tell people how to grow their companies?
Yeah, I mean, considering how to unite salespeople and marketers, to create one goal, between two departments.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes. Well, usually, like the salespeople love to have marketers bring in a lot of leads, and they want them to bring in leads that will actually buy on their own. So people will just they'll log in, they'll register, and then they'll buy within 3 minutes. And we like that. And so we really encourage our marketers to make it so that people do that. And then the salespeople, though, in many cases, they have to help agencies by doing automatic demos. Now, like for instance, we have a policy where if someone wants to try out the white label, all they have to do is ask, and we'll upgrade them from the regular free trial, the 14-day free trial, and we'll upgrade them to white label agency unlimited trial, and they can try out for 2 weeks. And even if that's not long enough, they can get another 2 weeks. So we're very, you were noting that we didn't actually say that they could have a free trial on the website for the white label. They don't, but we do not require anybody to pay anything extra if they haven't yet tested the white label and they want to test it. Then they can. Well, the reason why we don't automatically grant the free white label trial is because AppSumo, one of our clients, they went in and they for the free user, and then they created a lifetime white label plan, and people paid a lot of money for that. And in 1 day or two, they made like $20,000. And then AppSumo realized, because everyone was wondering how could they possibly offer a lifetime, and then AppSumo basically refunded everybody's money for that. And we're no longer working with this person. And so we want to actually check people out.
Yeah, got it. Okay,
just a little bit.
Yeah, let's talk about keyword research. I open your tool, and I see keyword research feature. It's very important, but I see when companies understand keyword research in their own way. I mean, they see high volume keywords and jump on that, but in the first stage, these keywords are overpriced. You can compete with big companies like Wikipedia, many others. And in the second, it's hard to sell these keywords. And once I spoke with webmaster who lost 400,000 traffic, a lot of traffic, because Google dropped his ranking positions, but he didn't lose any sales. So he got a lot of traffic, but he didn't convert this traffic. Can you tell how to create the right strategy by using keyword research? Don't pay attention to vanity metrics like volume, and analyze other metrics that will bring more accurate results in your content plan. Any tips about that?
Oh, I see. Okay, so you want to what is a good strategy for instance, going after long tail keywords?
Yeah. Keyword research. Any tips how to find the right keywords?
Some important tips. Yes. One thing I've noticed a lot of people do is they do not try to go for niche markets at all. So they'll, let's say, an agency. Most of our clients are agencies, and so they have their own website. And when they're doing their own website, you look at their website, they don't say where they're located, and they don't quite realize it. Well, then I ask them, and they say, "Well, we want to have clients from all over the world." And I'm saying, you're not going to be in the top 100 of agencies if you just suddenly decide without any backlinks that you want to compete just in general to get clients from all over the world. You want to actually say what region you're in at least, or you can choose what niche you want to work with yourself. For instance, if you're an agency, you can say, "Well, I'm an agency for dental hygienists," and then you can try to score a dental hygienist marketing agency, but then you have to put in the name of your niche market, and then you should go for the local. You should make sure that, especially when you add Google My Business, you can make sure that you are found at least within a 300-mile radius of where you're located. You'll get the Google Maps position. And then when you get the Google Maps position, you'll also end up with getting organic positions as long as on the website you say where you're located. People just forget to do that. Most people out there, this is funny with all the attention to SEO around the world, most people, even in the SEO field, are missing the basics. And that is, you need to put the keywords that specify the niche market that you want. And here's another thing. A lot of people forget to put really basic stuff like you're an online store. So what they'll do is they'll say nice wicker baskets, and maybe they'll even say wicker baskets for Easter. And so you think that they're really getting into their niche, but they're not, because if they don't put wicker basket for Easter online store, they're going to be competing against just kids who put up pictures of their wicker baskets for Easter. You have to actually say that you're an online store. Clinics, medical clinics are really bad for this. They will put down the names of diseases, and that's all they'll put down. So they'll optimize their website for certain disease names, and then what they'll do is that's it. And then they'll find out later on when they're with us, they'll look and they'll see that the websites that they're competing with are research institutions and other educational websites that describe the disease that they are trying to cure. And they're competing with those just for those words, when you really have to say, no, we are a disease clinic. We cure this disease. This is what we do. We are doctors. We will help you if you get this disease. Okay. And most medical clinics do not do that. They don't say that they're a medical clinic. They just, or the pages that they're optimizing for, just say the name of the disease. And so one thing I'll have to say with with SEO is that you've really got to say exactly what you do, and don't forget it. Don't talk about what you sell. Say that you sell it. So don't talk about what you say that you sell it, or at least do that as well. And so it's probably the biggest thing anyone can get out of this video is you have to remember to say exactly what you are and what you do. I'll give another example. Let's say you are to sell something and you say you sell it, but like, are you a manufacturer? Because if you're a manufacturer, that's a whole lot more important than a reseller. So if you say online store for widgets, and you say that's what you do, well, wait a minute now, you actually produce these widgets. You have a factory. You really should say that, because if you don't, you as a manufacturer are now competing against all the little mom and pop stores that also sell your product. Maybe even you're competing against your own customers. So you really need to say manufacturer, or at least supplier. And most people don't do that. When they're a supplier of something, they don't actually sell as a supplier. They may say buy online, but they don't use the word supplier. And the manufacturers don't say manufacturer. They don't talk about their factory. They don't talk about their manufacturing processes. And really big orders can come if you actually say that. If you actually say that you are a manufacturer. And people forget. So I say most of my time I'm telling manufacturers to say they're manufacturers. I'm telling stores to say that they're stores. Or I'm telling hospital clinics to say that they're hospital clinic. And this is my job, teaching people how to use SEO tools. I'm actually not so much talking about the SEO tools themselves, although I spend a lot of time doing that, but I'm also telling them basics of SEO. And important. And with us, of course, you get free advice. So we've never charged, and you can talk to me all the time for free.
Okay, got it. I'll add to the podcast episode about that. So I hope customers will go after that to try for free. And Alan, I wanna ask about your customers. I mean, like, can you describe your ideal customer? I mean, like SEO agency, big agency, small agency, and what are loving features on your tool they like more? For example, I see you have a lot of features, but I usually share different features for different clients. Your tips about loving features and your ideal customer.
Okay. Well, yeah, our ideal customer, yeah, we have, saying we love all of our customers. but the white label customers really bring in. I mean, they do a lot for themselves and for us, because they'll add like over 1,000 customers, and that's good for us. So it's nice for us to work. We have plenty of customers that pay us $99 per quarter, like that's $33 per month for the solo plan, or plenty of customers that pay us $99 per month, and they have like 5 projects, let's say, for the startup plan. But yeah, we've got customers that'll pay us like $10,000 a month, and they've got lots and lots of customers, and the white label helps do that, and so we like working with them. We like working.
So you help everyone, yeah? I mean, like big companies.
Yeah, well, I end up spending the same amount of time sometimes with the small ones, because sometimes a mom and pop store, they really don't get the SEO, and so they may have to call 5 or 6 times. Whereas a white label person will pick up really fast, and I may spend about 2 hours with this person, and then they'll end up, paying us $5,000 a month. And I spent 2 hours teaching them, because they caught on really quickly. They understood the tools. Whereas a mom and pop shop out of Florida, down in the Keys, Key Largo or whatever, they may have to call us 5 times. And, I'm putting 5 hours of time into, teaching them about SEO, and they'll pay us maybe $109 per quarter, like $33 per month. And I spend the same amount of time. I spend more time, I guess, with some of these people. And that's just the way life is, because I'm not going to turn down the opportunity to help somebody. So.
Yeah, got it. Okay, let's talk about simple reports. I found customers need simple reports, understandable, because most of them have no time to figure out about difficult metrics. They want to know traffic, sales. So can you tell your way how to simplify reports in your tool, and use personalization or customization? I mean, like I create 2 different reports to 2 different clients, because they're different. They have different preferences, goals. Tell about your reports that we can create in Web SEO.
Okay. Right. Well, if we're talking now, not the white label. With the white, I'll go the 2 things. I'll talk about the white label, and I'll talk about the PDFs.
Yeah, we can touch as well.
Okay. Well, first of all, with white label, there's one thing with white label, is that you can specify which reports will be available for somebody who logs on. So you're logging on as a client to an agency, for instance, and the agency wants to show them only the rank tracking reports, or only the rank tracking and the site audit. And by the way, with us, all scanning is, when you have an agency unlimited plan, all scanning is free, and except for the rank tracking and the backlinks. And backlinks is $4 per 1,000. Sorry, for 10,000 backlinks, $4. And it's very rare that someone has more than 10,000 backlinks. Even clients that have 50,000 backlinks, you can just put a setting and just show me 3 per domain, and then end up with 4,000 backlinks, because it's kind of silly if you have 80,000 backlinks to download all 80,000 when most of those backlinks are coming from the same domain. So I don't recommend having people printing out their entire backlinks, because most of those backlinks are coming from like site-wide links from one website, and then you basically have all the pages of a website showing. It's just silly. So when I have a report on white label, or you as an agency have a report on a white label, you're going to want to maybe just show them a couple of the tools, so that you don't confuse them, and also so that they don't bother your team with too many questions that aren't really what they originally asked for. So some people want to have lots of bells and whistles. They want to have all the different tools that WebSEO offers, and you can offer that. But we found that in order to simplify, you can basically state that when this person logs in, they will see this report, and that report. It really simplifies things. Now, with the same thing you can do with the PDF files when you're in the reports. These are the ones that you mail to people by email, or you over messaging services. And what you do with that is you can basically download, for instance, any report by itself, just that report. And then you can send that, and you can discuss it with them, and they can be very happy they got their rank tracking report for the month, and that's all they have is the rank tracking report. And then maybe you can send them another report saying, oh, by the way, and this is your technical report. Notice that you've got no broken links, and for this month. And so that's a good way of doing simplified reports. We also have, though, the consolidated type of PDF report where you specify, well, I want the report from this tool, and I want the report from this tool, and you basically have a whole list of reports all in one PDF file. And that's a little bit more complicated, but we recommend that you print it out first, not print it out, but you see the report yourself. And once it looks good, then you send it on to your customer. So basically, you can make things as complicated or as simple as you want, both in the PDF realm as well as in the online on your own domain realm.
Nice, nice. Alan, can you tell strong side of your tool? I mean, like all tools have advantages, disadvantages. What is your strong side that you recommend to anyone?
Okay, interesting question. Well, we're very strong on the white label. And yeah, the ones that are making a whole lot of money off it are very happy with that. And what else is really good with us? Well, we were always famous for rank tracking because like we were always first with like we very quickly surpassed Moz on showing the different types of rankings. And then although Google is always coming out with new types of rankings, so it's an endless a game of always getting the new types of rankings. But we were like first with the snippets, the knowledge snippets when they're talking about position 0 back in 2017 or 2016. We came out with something called Dangerous Competitors, featuring a shark back in January 2017, and we can basically find who competes with you for a certain set of keywords, which websites compete with you. And then a year and a half ago, we came out with a great new tool called the SEO Content Assistant, which finds the actual web pages that compete with you. And a lot of people have been asking us for that for many years. And it's a very important tool because the competitors that are competing with you domain-wise can be very different from the people that are actually competing with you for the actual pages. Most of the time, they're the same. But you'd be surprised to find out that out of the blue, some site that you didn't see was competing with you as a domain is suddenly like #1 for your keyword, and you've got to examine all the meta tags. Like we help you examine all the meta tags and how many backlinks that particular page has, and you can figure out this is the reason why they're #1, and this is the reason why we're #2. If we want to be #1, we need to fix our H1 tag. You know, we need to actually say this word, this modifier, like Tucson, Arizona. We need to say that in the H1 tag because our competitor did, and that's why. And we only have five backlinks, and they have 20 backlinks. And that, by the way, I'll segue into another really strong point of WebCO is that we have something called the Competitor Backlink Spy, and that you put in about 4 or 5 competitors, and we'll find maybe 2,000 backlinks that are going to each of these competitors. And we'll take maybe 2,000 of your backlinks, and we'll say whether or not you have this backlink as well, and we'll sort by how many of your competitors have the same backlink from the same page, not the same link, but get a backlink from that same page. And if 3 of your competitors or 2 of your competitors have a backlink from this page, and you don't, then that's a wonderful opportunity for you to get a backlink because the odds are they will backlink to you as well, if they're in the same league as you. Then the backlinker will say, hey, yeah, we'll backlink to you as well. Of course, obviously with backlinks, you have to be very good at making friends with people, connecting with them on LinkedIn, maybe inviting them out to lunch. But anyway, yeah, just getting them not to be lazy and to link to you because they're linking to your competitors, they may as well link to you. But this tool is really great because it's taught a lot of people about different places that they can get backlinks from in general, not just in specific. And that is, if you're selling refrigerators and you see that your competitors have tons of backlinks from mom and pop realtors, real estate agencies, I'm like, wait a minute, why do then they go, of course, real estate agencies want to tell their clients that they need to buy refrigerators from this website. I mean, from this store, the refrigerator store. And then suddenly I'm showing how a lot of people who make products for the home, they can convince real estate agencies all over the world to link to their store to sell their product for the home. And a lot of people are like flabbergasted when they realize that they can do this. And it takes a lot of work. You can go to, because there are a ton of real estate agencies there, and they have a ton of websites, real estate websites. And they'd be perfectly happy, especially if you had some sort of side deal with them where they get a commission for selling a refrigerator or selling a TV or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it's just a very good idea. And there's plenty of other examples where you can show a website owner how to get great backlinks for their product, that things that they've never thought of. And even stupid little things like the local chamber of commerce. That's supposed to be a given. Anybody's supposed to know if you have a website and you have a local business that you register with the chamber of commerce with your link. Most people don't know that. It just doesn't come to mind. But when you check that your competitors, especially if you're looking at your local competitors, and you see that your local competitors have backlinks from the local chamber of commerce, a light bulb goes off in their heads, and like, of course, So you can almost even say that WebCEO's tools are the of course tools. Just rename them the of course web tools, because obviously you should be going with the local real estate agencies and the chamber of commerce and obviously the local schools. For there's plenty of products that the local schools will want to talk about, especially if your product is related to some sort of scientific principle. Then you want the local grade schools and the local universities and colleges that you do a seminar at the local conference and you teach them about how to make a widget. And the teachers would love to have you come in and tell the students how to make widgets and the science behind that widget. And then, of course, when you do that, you get a link from that school. And academic backlinks are fantastic. Everybody knows that. And if you see that your competitors are doing that, then you definitely should do it yourself. Or actually, now that you've listened to this podcast, you should do it before you find out that your competitors have those backlinks. Yeah. Do it yourself now.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, valuable. You mentioned about Rand Fishkin in the beginning.
He's a great guy. Yeah, he started Moz.
Yeah, I'm blessed because I spoke with him twice. He spoke on this podcast and he spoke on my event as well. And what I found, he switched his attention in 2016, if I remember correctly, year like 2016, from SEO to branding to create brand. Today he has SparkTora, another tool,
right.
And he even on my podcast he told fuck Google,
Well, yes, but there was a situation there which I won't go into the details of, but it was basically Moz was sold to Moz is owners, right? And so he had to, because he was and so he had to get into a slightly different field.
I'm interested about you spoke a lot about keywords, ranking, but I want to ask about branding. Can you tell how it's important today to create your strong brand recognition, as Rand Fishkin recommends to anyone to think about branding, because we can't control Google, we can't control YouTube. These platforms can change anything, but if you have your strong brand, then you will have customers, loyal customers. Any tips about creating strong brand recognition?
Okay, that's a very good point. Well, obviously we were really into that at the beginning. With white label, you don't see like WebCEO anywhere. The URL at the top of the screen when you're looking at the screen right now, that's called the browser address bar. And if people see that you have your own domain, that's fantastic. They trust it more. They trust you more. They feel that even if in the back of their mind, they must be white labeling this. At least they're thinking, well, these people are tech savvy because they figured out how to white label it. And no one actually. It's very, very rare that someone recognizes our graphics and says, "Hey, that's WebCEO," because you can change the colors and all that, and people see that, hey, these people are technically savvy, and branding everywhere you can brand, and it has value. It creates extreme value. I started a company called yourgrocer.com in 1998 in New York City, and they made a nice logo, and you can find it on the Wayback Machine now because it's gone through several iterations of being bought out, and so now the final company that bought them out no longer uses the brand. But the brand got me $500,000. I mean, I didn't get to keep it because I didn't keep it all because I had investors. But so I ended up with about 20% or even less. And but it was a great experience, and because I sold out within a year because all the people wanted to buy online grocery stores back then. And the brand stayed around for about 15 years before finally the final online store that bought them said, okay, no, we want to use our own brand. We just want all of your New York City customers. And New York City customers, when I left, when I sold, was $500,000 a month in sales. and they were loyal to your grocer. They were loyal to that little icon of me carrying groceries, and a goofy type of me, like a cartoon, and that cartoon of me sold a lot of groceries. And if you don't have a brand, people can just easily skip to someone else. They can, if they don't see a brand.
Yeah. Okay, Alan, I want to ask about common mistakes when companies made by using white label features, your tool, because in my life I made a lot of mistakes. I keep doing them. I don't know another way how to learn. So I think that's okay if you start from mistakes, then you can learn from them to go ahead. So can you list mistakes that companies do by using your tool or any other white label SEO tool, and how to find a much better way?
Okay, so you're saying they'll sign up for our white label tool and they'll make a mistake?
Yes. What kind of mistakes? Yeah.
That's an interesting question. What type of mistakes will someone make when they sign up for a white label tool? Really interesting question. A mistake that's not related to a technical problem, like they have when they don't do a proper CNAME to a domain, because you have to do a CNAME when you create an account. Like I said, you need to have your own. You should do your own domain, like a subdomain, and people usually name it properly, like tools or marketing. And then mistakes they might make is they'll forget about it and they won't advertise it. I mean, those are just not, that happens. A certain percentage don't advertise it, and the mistakes that people make. Yeah, well, only a certain percentage of people, really put forth the effort to make a whole lot of money to bring themselves over $100,000 a month based on our tools. Yes, interesting question. Mistakes that people make.
I can list mistakes that I see when companies have, for example, when they see high volume keywords, they chase them, create content with these keywords. It's hard to outrank big websites. For example, if they use impersonalized reports, for example, to send almost everything, sometimes customers don't need it. So if you know other mistakes, will be great to know.
Oh, okay. Well, I did mention earlier a really huge mistake that people make is not, in SEO, is not putting the niche market and going for keywords that they can actually score for. Mm-hmm. And also, not telling, like I said, not telling people who they are and what they actually do, completely forgetting about that. So let me get away from that as a mistake. And you want to know about what other types of mistakes they make, right? Well, I'll talk about technical mistakes. WordPress makes it very hard to put an H1 in the page. And so a lot of people build WordPress sites and they don't have any H1s in their pages. H1, I consider the number 2 SEO ranking factor. If you, put down the top 300 ranking factors, easily you can count 300 ranking factors, and the H1 would be number 2 with the title. Mm-hmm. The title tag, I would say number 1, and the H1 in my experience is number 2. And WordPress makes it so hard that a lot of people don't bother, and then they end up with no H1 tags, and they end up lower in the rankings because not because they work with WordPress, it's a good tool, but because WordPress didn't make it easy for them to put H1s in all the pages. You should work with this. WordPress has extra themes that you would buy on top of that, and some of those actually do remember to make you put it in H1. Actually, the title is also a problem with WordPress, is that the title is actually cut in half. There's 2 places to put in your title, and so you end up putting it in one and you end up putting in the other, and it creates a really weird type of title. You have to know that. You have to know that there's a vertical line in there that comes up, and then you have 1/2 and 1/2, and you have to figure out how to do that. And most people don't figure out how to do it. Yeah, I'd say these CMSs are still very primitive in a way in terms of SEO. A lot of the content management systems, they're very primitive in terms of helping people do proper SEO, because they're made by people who help you build websites and not by people who help you do SEO. And I've seen very few that are actually good at it. And interestingly, I predicted 5 or 6 years ago that there'd be a merger of CMS system companies with SEO companies. So I assumed that SEMrush would be bought out or would buy out WordPress. because they belong together. I mean, SEO tools belong together. Never happened. Very few examples. There hasn't been a merging of SEO tools suppliers and content management system suppliers. And that leaves the market in a position where they have to, get a CMS, and they have to work with something like WordPress, and then they have to learn all over again because WordPress isn't helping all that much, and to do SEO and to do it properly. The H1 and the title are the two most important things that you can do to get found in the rankings. And and I can prove that, I can't prove it, right here, but one example is on Christmas Eve 2 years ago. Some guy had just retired from the golfing circuit in Florida. He was in Fort Lauderdale, and he had retired, and he wanted to do his own website, and he needed help with me. And so I was on the phone with him for about an hour and a half on Christmas Eve, and helping him. And I had to log in for him on WordPress. I usually don't do that. It's not our policy, but for him, he didn't really know how to do websites. And so I logged into WordPress for him, and I gave him an H1. I gave him a title that was really good for Fort Lauderdale PGA golf instructor or golf instructions. And he called me like 3 days later on the 27th of December, and he was in total shock that he was number one. He was number one in Fort Lauderdale for Fort Lauderdale PGA golf instructor, which was a lot of people were searching for that. Several hundred per month were searching for that. And he's saying already the phone was ringing. And I'm sure he's done quite well. He didn't actually buy from us. He didn't purchase a subscription to even our solo plan, which is $109 per quarter. But I wasn't mad. I was really happy for him. It was only because I went in there and I changed his H1 and his title tag.
Mm-hmm.
Hour and a half of my time. And I'm happy for him. If the more power to you if you can call me and get on the line with me for an hour and a half and end up number one for your website. It doesn't happen very often that it's that fast, but I can tell you that was the result of changing your H1 tag and changing your title tag. Maybe by saying this now, I've lost a lot of customers, because now people will go out and they'll make sure that their H1 and their title tag say exactly what they do. If they're a manufacturer, put manufacturer in both of those tags, or supplier. And so people make a lot of mistakes. Yeah, and there's a whole lot of mistakes you can make technically. But the thing is, our tools find that. So, if our tools or someone else's SEO tools, if you log in, it'll be an education for you. Our tools will tell you what big mistakes you've already made. And really stupid move. People have more than one home page, and they call one the index.html, and the other one is index.htm or something really silly. And they end up, and they don't realize that they have two index pages, and then Google sees them as separate pages, and they have no rankings. They have their rankings because Google just doesn't know what to rank, and so they fall in the rankings. And there's so many people out there that have more than one index page, and so they think that they have a website, but they don't, because Google considers it like two separate websites, at least for the homepage.
Yeah, nice. Alan, I have final question. I spoke with Jeff Coyle, co-founder of Market Muse, AI tool, well known to create advanced content strategy. And he told me, in the future, we'll have three companies. First company will develop AI. The second company implement AI. And the third company, obsolete companies who can leave the trade. So, do you have any plans, goals to implement AI?
Oh, yes.
Web SEO, and any tips for others how to implement AI today?
Right. No, that's a very good question. Yes, we are in talks. There are several now that do that, and so it was very fast. How I remember we were down in Greece in January, and the chat GPT became. Mm-hmm. We immediately caught onto it. We wrote a really great article. You can go to search Web CEO. By the way, we're Web CEO, not Web SEO. Our company. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the CEO is capitalized along with the W, but the EB isn't. Mm-hmm. And but yes, we do own the name. We own the domain webseo.com. We're not stupid. That's another mistake people make. Hold on. That's another mistake people make, and that is they don't get the domains for the different spellings that people might use by mistake with their branding. It's a really stupid move to brand in a way that if someone makes a mistake in like didn't hear it right and they type that in, they don't find you, or they find somebody else. That's just dumb. You don't do that. Make sure that you have a website. Make sure your domain name equals your brand name, and the different various possible spellings of your domain name, you own them. So you have like 3 or 4 domains that you own, and they redirect to your site. That's by the way, another big major mistake is people not redirecting things properly and using 301 redirects instead of 302 redirects. Having a 302 redirect is basically telling people don't index this. I'm linking to something. Don't index it, Google, because it's just temporary. It's just for your Christmas special, right? And then they leave the 302 forever on a page, and it never gets indexed. Yeah, the ChatGPT was big, and one thing that went wrong with ChatGPT is that you couldn't buy like $20. You couldn't pay the $20 because everybody in the world was trying to pay the $20. And then if you didn't pay the $20, you couldn't use it because everybody in the world was trying to use it, and there were lineups. And then Bing came out, and they actually loaded their AI tool on Skype. And that's another thing, we recommend people use Skype, and there's some other tools to communicate with people, because Skype has screen share, and we have so many customers who can chat with me anytime in the day or not even the night, and they can immediately go into a screen share meeting to talk about their project, and I can help them. Otherwise, we allow people to on our homepage to schedule a demo with Google Meet. But Google Meet isn't like Skype in that Google Meet you can't just suddenly say to somebody, "Hey, I'm here. Can you talk to me for a few minutes?" No, Bing has this wonderful AI tool that, well, they're not all that wonderful. All the AI tools still have some work to do. Bing has an AI tool. And so we're talking with some people about getting the APIs to do proper AI functionality. And so I'd recommend, going to our blog, webceo.com/blog. And then when you're in our blog, do a quick search. Actually, you probably only have to go around 4 or 5 articles down, and you'll find it. It was only written recently. In February, we released it. And it says all the great things, the great ways that AI can help SEO. It can do a great job of keyword research, and it can do a great job of, it can even write content. But I don't recommend writing content solely with AI, because AI can be detected. You have to work with it as a human. Because AI still can be detected. In a way, it comes across as phony. In a way, it's good information, but I can see why Google can detect something written by a bot, by AI, and so I recommend don't rely on AI to create all your content. Although it may be a good way to structure your content, to ask AI to write something, and then you look at it and you say, "That's how I should structure it," and then you go ahead and then you write. Mm-hmm. So we will. WebSEO will have AI functionality pretty soon.
Nice. Okay, Alan, it's a big pleasure to get you on the show, to learn from you. Tell our audience the best way how to keep learning from you, how to follow you, how to reach out to you.
Okay. Well, we're webceo.com, not webseo.com. Although you'll end up in the same place. We also we're also let's see. Skype Web CEO Online. That's a good way to find us. And then on Facebook, you just type in Web CEO. We said Web CEO SEO software for Facebook, because we were thinking, okay, well, let's go ahead and let's not just say our name. Let's go ahead and say what we do. And that's helped a lot too. That was cool to do that with Facebook. And LinkedIn, kind of the same thing. LinkedIn is one of our most important social media. We really recommend finding us on LinkedIn. So go to webceo.com. So just go to LinkedIn, type in Web CEO, and we're the one that's biggest. I think a couple of people also say they're Web CEO or Web SEO, but we're the one that's biggest. We'll be the one with like 100,000 followers or something like that, and then follow us. And LinkedIn is probably the major way I contact people, way I talk to people, make deals. When people want to do a white label and they need to do 10,000 keywords per month checking, and we try to figure out what custom plan they need and all that. I do that all on LinkedIn a lot most of the time. And that's so I'll find us on that. And I'm probably leaving out a really cool way to find us. But yeah, the websites are still, thankfully, because this is where we do our business, right? Websites are still the main way to get in touch with people, and then from there move on through social media and other methods of contact.
Nice, nice. Guys, you can find the links to LinkedIn, to website, to all social media in the description below. Listen us on Apple, Google, Spotify. Thanks again for your time. Love it. Alan,
Okay.
it's a big pleasure.
Дякую,
So
Anatoly.
valuable. Yeah. I'll check out, I'll review this article one more time. I need to find time, in my busy schedule.
Oh, yes, right, yeah.
Do it.
Well, yes, make sure people know they can get free trials with us for as much functionality as they need. We'll give them a free trial, because what we just offer to people who come off the street, we offer them a free trial with 6 keywords, and they, one project and no white label, but all they have to do is ask. And in life, you have to ask,
Yeah,
You have
okay,
to
got
ask.
it. Okay, thanks guys for listening and watching us.